Why is my skin so itchy when I get out of the shower? In today's video, we're going to find out. Itch is debilitating. It can really mess up your quality of life and overall sleep-wake cycle. Itch after a shower can be the result of a variety of different things. One of the more common reasons is simply related to your showering habits. Taking long, hot showers is disruptive to skin's outermost moisture barrier, leading to more water loss from the skin and subsequent enhanced penetration of irritating things that will trigger itch. Hot water leads to dilation of blood vessels that course through the skin, and in doing so, we get enhanced delivery of little mediators of itch. Now let's face it, some of us like to take out our aggression on our skin barrier using a washcloth, a loofah, or maybe you even use a dry brush before you get into the shower to really scrub and buff the skin. Not only is this unnecessary, but it really can aggravate the symptoms of itch by impairing the moisture barrier and leading to the release of histamine from mast cells that course through the skin. A common showering error is using way too much body wash or overusing your cleansing bar. This can be unnecessary, hard on the skin barrier, and furthermore, it can lead to, well, left behind residue, especially trapped in skin folds, that later breaks down the skin barrier and serves as a nidus for more widespread post-shower itch. When you get out of the shower, if you're someone who likes to really rub your skin dry with that towel, you could be aggravating not only your skin barrier, but the symptoms of itch as you are causing the release of histamine from mast cells. Take all of these bathing habits together with the fact that many of us, myself included, prefer to shower at night. In fact, I recommend showering at night to remove dirt, oil, pollutants from the skin surface that, well, actually could make you itchy to begin with. But one of the things about our skin is it follows a circadian rhythm. At nighttime, as we sleep, we have more water loss from the skin, so we're more prone to itch. Couple that with the fact that there's enhanced blood flow to the skin, delivering those little itch mediators. All of these things together is one reason why you may be going to bed really, really itchy. And like I said at the beginning of the video, itch can really mess up your sleep cycle to a point that you're not even aware of because you get these low-level arousals. You kind of half wake up to scratch your skin, but really can be messing up your sleep. What you want to do when it comes to bathing is keep your showers short and stick to lukewarm to cool water, never hot. Choose a mild body wash or soap, ideally free of fragrance, simply because fragrance is a common allergen, but if it doesn't bother your skin, then it's probably fine to use. Make sure, importantly, you're not using too much, and also make sure you are rinsing it off thoroughly. Don't leave any cleanser behind in your skin folds. It will mess up your barrier. When you get out of the shower, pat dry your skin with a towel of any visible water. That way you're not rubbing to bits your delicate moisture barrier. Then make sure you apply a moisturizer right away. Moisturizers help to reduce water loss and improve barrier function, ultimately helping to cut down on the sensation of itch. If you live in a dry climate and your bedroom air is dry, consider using a humidifier in the bedroom at night. That will also help to reduce transepidermal water loss, keeping your skin hydrated and ultimately reducing the symptoms of itch. Outside of bathing practices, though, there are a few medical conditions that can lead to itchy skin related to showering, and one that you may have heard of is called aquagenic pruritus. Pruritus is just the medical term for itch, and aquagenic, as it sounds, means caused by water. And aquagenic pruritus can lead to symptoms of itch within seconds of contact with not just shower water, but also bath water, rainwater, ocean water, lakes, pool water, your own tears, and your own sweat. It's more common in women than men, but anyone can get it. Often manifests for the first time around the age of 40, but again, anybody, any age, any time can develop aquagenic pruritus. It's not super common, but man, it is really debilitating because we need to bathe, we need to come in contact with water. If you have this condition, what can you do? Well, there are a variety of medical therapies that can be offered, such as antihistamines to help control the itch, as well as a medication known as naltrexone. Naltrexone is something that is actually used for patients who struggle with opioid use disorder. There's actually a whole system of opioid signaling in our skin that plays a huge role in the sensation of itch, so naltrexone can be particularly helpful. One thing that was observed many, many years ago for patients with aquagenic pruritus who elect to bathe is if they add a little bit of baking soda, not too much, but a little bit of baking soda to the bath water, it can really help cut down on aquagenic pruritus. It's thought that because of the pH of baking soda, it may help slow down the release of itch signals. Be careful though, baking soda is quite caustic and can ultimately end up being irritating to your skin's moisture barrier. You may also find that topical capsaicin can be particularly helpful. Now you'll encounter topical capsaicin not in the skincare section of your store, but rather the pain relief section of the drugstore. Topical capsaicin is often used as a muscle ache rub, but the capsaicin, when you apply it to the skin, if you've ever used it, you know it burns quite a bit. Well, that's advantageous for itch because it basically leads to the depletion of the little signals from the nerves that course through the skin, kind of leaving them a bit wiped out and buying you some relief from the symptoms of itch. You might also choose a moisturizer that contains an anti-itch ingredient ingredient like pramoxine, an anesthetic that soothes the symptoms of itch. There's also menthol, which, provided you're not allergic to, can be cooling and help alleviate itch as well. It's also better to bathe in cool water than warm water if you have aquagenic pruritus. Not that the cool water won't trigger it, but it'll be less intense compared to warm water. And then lastly, this may come as a surprise to you if you've ever encountered this ingredient, and that is supplementation with something called beta-alanine, a non-essential amino acid that you can commonly find in different bodybuilding type supplements. Beta-alanine, if you have ever taken it, causes for a lot of people this very uncomfortable sensation and often leaves you feeling very itchy. But for people with aquagenic pruritus, anecdotally, it appears to really be quite helpful. Why? It's not entirely clear, but it is safe to take, and so you may find that to be helpful. Let me know in the comments if you've ever accidentally gotten an energy drink that has beta-alanine in it. How did that go for you? I accidentally had it once. I wanted to claw my eyeballs out. The sensation was unbearable and it seemed to take forever to go away. Yeah, it's a very unpleasant sensation, but if you have aquagenic pruritus, it might just be the ticket to getting you some relief. Now, one really important thing about aquagenic pruritus that might just save your life is that it actually can be an early warning sign of a type of cancer of the cells of the blood. Different blood cancers often will present with this sort of itch triggered upon exposure to water. A lot of patients will come in saying, I get so unbearably itchy in and after my shower. What is going on? It could be an early warning sign of a cancer of the blood, such as polycythemia vera, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and the itch can start years and years and years before the cancer actually comes to a head and starts to develop. Why? Well, it's thought that the inflammatory response of your body's immune system in an effort to kill off those early problematic cells could be revving up the itch as it relates to exposure to water. So any patient who has aquagenic pruritus, it should be followed annually with blood work, lab tests to monitor their blood counts to make sure they're not, showing blood evidence of any type of cancer. I don't say this to alarm you, but as you can imagine, it might just save your life. And then last but not least, you might be itchy after a shower because, well, you might just have hives. The medical term for hives is urticaria. There are so many different types of hives out there. I've talked about many on this channel before, and I even have a video on how to get rid of hives fast. Hives are these raised, itchy welts that come out, and they are aggravated by rubbing and warm temperatures. When it comes to hives triggered by water exposure, there are actually a few different variants. First of all is aquagenic urticaria. Hives triggered by exposure to water. Cold water, warm water, it doesn't matter. Fresh water, lake water, any type of water triggers hives. As you can imagine, this needs to be distinguished from aquagenic pruritus, which we just talked about. Aquagenic pruritus, you don't have any hives. There's also something called cholinergic urticaria, where you get little hives, oftentimes around the hair follicle, mostly on the trunk, so like your chest, your abdomen, your back, upon exposure to warm temperatures. If you have cholinergic urticaria, you might also get hives when you work out. You get warm, sweaty, it may trigger little hives. Then you have cold urticaria. Cold urticaria, you'll develop little hives upon exposure to cold water, as well as other things that are cold, such as ice cream, a popsicle, if it comes in contact with the skin, a cold metal object, all can trigger hives. Now, one thing about hives, like other forms of itchy skin issues, they really get much worse the more you rub the skin. The hives come out even more. If you deal with hives of any variant, but here we're talking about those triggered by water exposure, be really mindful that you do not scratch or rub the skin. Apply a cool compress, can alleviate the discomfort, cause the hives to calm down. We treat hives with scheduled, meaning take them daily, antihistamines. Oftentimes it requires many different antihistamines and at a higher dose than what you might take, say, for just seasonal allergies. So don't be alarmed if your dermatologist recommends that. It is a go-to. For a lot of people, hives initially are brought out and run their course for a period of anywhere from several months to several years. And sometimes they come out after you have maybe been exposed to a cold or flu virus that sort of like leaves your immune system a bit stymied and confused, and you deal with hives. Some people have hives as it relates to an underlying medical condition. There's actually a whole big workup when it comes to hives. Cool compresses can help, unless of course you have cold urticaria, then they might aggravate it. Applying a moisturizer can help cut down on flares of urticaria and help them to clear up a bit after you have experienced a flare. Applying moisturizers to the skin chilled, provided you don't have cold urticaria, can also help them to go away faster. So what are some good moisturizers to use if you get itchy skin after a shower, whether it be just related to your bathing practices or whether it be aquagenic pruritus or some variant of hives triggered by water exposure? Well, I suggest choosing plain fragrance-free moisturizers, as fragrance is a common irritant allergen, might aggravate things for you. Choose a moisturizer that has petrolatum and or dimethicone in it. These help to reduce transepidermal water loss and really can help get things back on track and alleviate the symptoms of itch. Make sure you apply moisturizers to the skin while it's still holding on to the water from the shower. This will really help improve hydration, moisture content in the skin, and your barrier function will be much better. Alternatively, a moisturizer that has menthol or pramoxine, like I said, can really help distract those little itch nerves. For example, CeraVe has an itch relief moisturizer. There's Sarna lotion, which has menthol. There's another variant of Sarna that has pramoxine. These ingredients can be particularly helpful for distracting those little itch signals and buying you some relief. I will list all of these in the description box along with some other body moisturizers that I recommend, but that's what I wanted to cover in today's video. I really hope this was informative and educational. The skin is a window to what is going on internally, and I have a whole playlist of videos with regards to skin signs of underlying health problems. You definitely want to check out some of those videos. In fact, if you're somebody who deals with an itchy arm, all of a sudden your arm's like really itchy, especially by your elbow, you're going to want to check out the video on the end slate because I talk all about brachioradial pruritus, a type of itch on the arm, and what causes it and how to get rid of it. So watch that one next. Even if you don't have an itchy arm, it may just open your eyes into how amazing our skin is in terms of what it can tell you about what is going on in the rest of the body. It will be on the end slate. If you don't know what that is, it's the slide that comes after I disappear. There'll be a thumbnail. If you just click on that, it'll take you to that video. All right, y'all, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.